Okay, let's start this off with a video of me naturally grabbing the strategy guide. Like I didn't spend a few minutes setting up this shot, and we're going to follow that up with a shot of me measuring the guide. You can tell this is all for show because I don't even write anything down. Also, if you notice, my calipers are in millimeters and my measuring tape is in inches. I actually do take the measurements and throw them into Fusion 360. The reasoning is, over time and after many mistakes, I've come to understand, you know what, I'm not good at memorizing all these numbers. That said, I did all the measurements and still messed up. I basically make a quick box and add a 3mm outside layer for the thickness of the felt. I can then use those measurements to make an outer box. And the way you make the box is, you go to an online site, there are multiple ones. I happen to use MakeABox. I input the measurements, download the SVG, whatever floats your boat. I import that into Illustrator. Okay, so I need to do a test print to see if the sleeve will work. A life hack I've learned is I don't need to print the entire box. Why waste all that material? I just need to print the corner. If the corner fits, the rest should fit. Also print out a small piece to see the width fits too. I send the files out to the laser cuts them all out, bring them back inside. I did do a dry fit, which is basically a fit without the glue. I use blue tape to keep it together, and I stick some felt inside to make sure that thickness is correct. This may seem like it's my first attempt. It's not. It's like my third because I kept on messing up the measurements. I kept on going from millimeters to inches. It was a mess, but we got there eventually. The next step is figuring out how to align my print with the cover of the guide. I used to get out a ruler and measure it all out, and it was a pain in the ass. I eventually figured out if you scan something with a scanner, the photo is almost 1-to-1 scale to real life. So I throw that into Affinity Photo, and you can see that I have the vector lines of the box already imported. So I align the corners of the image to the vector lines, and I do a quick drawing. I export that drawing out to Illustrator, create a vector of it, and do a print of it to see if the size matches. Lucky for me, it does align up. This is the part where most people ask me how I do everything, how I process all my files. Unfortunately, there is no one solution or one setting for everything. Every print has a different settings and adjustments that need to be made. I don't have a master file that does everything for me. I manually draw everything. I manually separate everything based on what I want. I then trace, create vector lines around everything. Nothing fancy, no AI, no scripts, just tedious work. And if you're wondering, wow, that sounds like a lot of BS, that's because it is. This is the longest part in my process. It takes me about 2 to 4 days to make these files. If everything goes well, only 2 or 4 days. If it doesn't, it never goes well, longer. First thing I do is apply the felt. This took me months to figure out. I tried so many materials and gluing methods. I settled on felt and 3M77 adhesive spray. I then press it down using a roller. I then apply the glue, then clamp it down, and clamping down weird shapes like this can be hard, but you get used to it and you figure out ways. And then you sand it down, and you sand it down, and you sand it down. There's so much sanding, there's always sanding. Now we move on to gluing up the pieces on the back. I actually recorded the front, but I deleted the videos by accident, so we're starting off with the back. I glue up all this stuff in layers. I find it easier to hold everything together. Smaller parts tend to move around, so I find doing it in layers is best. Funny story, I actually printed these all out wrong. I forgot to flip the image, so I had to go back and reprint all these. This part actually I messed up on also. I forgot to put stuff in the middle of the print, like plywood. You do this because if you clamp anything down the middle part, it will start to warp sleeve itself, and nothing will fit. That took me a while to figure that out. Actually, now that I think about it, most of my work is really just making something, it not working, me figuring out why it's not working, and rinse and repeat. I don't have much else to say in the subject. I guess I'll just talk about why am I even making this. The reason I'm making this is because I have too much stuff, and I needed a way to get rid of it. And instead of just throwing on eBay like a normal person would, I thought, what if I make something overly complicated, costing me way more than actually just putting on eBay? Now, this is me applying varnish. Before everyone asks, I use tried and true varnish oil. Is it the best? No. Is it the worst? No. I find it works great for certain projects. I've used thicker varnishes. They're easy to apply, but they're hard to wipe off, especially in the smaller areas of the print. I learned that the hard way when I applied it and I didn't test it, and it took forever to get the thicker varnish out of the corners of the prints. And here's the final shot. I guess thanks for watching and listening. Hope you have a good day.